exposed. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. The Pgmol have been exposed. They've been exposed, not just with the David Coote situation, multiple current and ex-referees talking about the biases they hold, but the consistency in which they're protected and covered by the majority of the mainstream media. RefWatch is barely posting the clips on social media, the YouTube channel, anywhere for you to see. They have RefWatch, they discuss these things, but they are stopping. They're suppressing the ability for the conversations to go viral, for everyday people like you and I to discuss this. Now, I've been on their neck for a long time, and I'm not going to stop. I am not going to pull up. It doesn't matter the winner. Man United won at the weekend, but I am not going to stop talking about this decision and the way it has been protected since by the mouthpieces of the Pgmol. And I will say before playing this clip, fair play now to the host and the guests on Sky Sports who have started to call this nonsense out, because it is going far too far, in my opinion. Now, whether you're an Arsenal fan, you've been robbed before. Liverpool, massively robbed. Forest, Wolves, you've all been there. You should be standing shoulder to shoulder with Man United on this one as well. Take a listen to this. Of course, this hasn't been, I've not been able to download this from Sky, from the Pgmol, because they haven't re-uploaded it anywhere. This is somebody that's recorded it with his phone, watching it on television. So there's a bit of background noise, so try to ignore that, but take a listen to this.
I think Højlund obviously gets his body.
I don't know what the banging is in the background. Sounds like he's got someone locked in the cupboard.
He controls it down, doesn't he? And Diaz gets across him, doesn't get any of the ball, and takes Højlund down. I don't see how it isn't a penalty. You know, he does well, Højlund there, and it's just that where he just gets his leg across, completely takes him down.
I'm trying to work out in what universe, do you think that...
Listen to what the host there said. I'm trying to work out in what universe you don't think this is a foul and you don't think this is a penalty. Remember, in the game, Gary Neville asked him, does he think it's a penalty? He said no. He said, why don't you think it's a penalty? And his response at the time was, you don't give them in games like this, mate. You don't get penalties for fouls like that in games like this. Now, first and foremost, we all know this is bullshit. And do you want to know why this is bullshit? Because that foul was every bit as, not soft. The one on the right here was Rasmus Højlund very delicately, fleetingly I will add, pulling Rodri last season, and he went down. Dermot Gallagher defended that decision to within an inch of his life to protect his friends at the Pgmol. The decision on the left is from Sunday's game, where Ruben Diaz puts his leg across the player to try and win the ball, misses the ball, trips him up, studs him on the knee, and Dermot Gallagher says you can't get penalties like that in derbies. The lack of consistency between his breakdown of those calls just to protect his friends is an absolute disgrace. Let's keep listening, though.
That isn't a penalty, because he doesn't get the ball. He takes him down quite high, actually, with his leg and stops him running onto the ball. So I'm kind of trying to work out.
I just thought Højlund was happy to go down. I didn't think he... So
Højlund was happy to go down. They do question him here, but the question should be, why do you see that as different from a 6'3", 6'4", 15-stone Rodri going down with somebody lightly pulling on his shirt? Why didn't you mention that for that call? And the reason why I'm specifically focusing on that call, so you're all aware, is because that happened in a Manchester derby as well.
He was really interested chasing up.
The facial expressions. This is the Liverpool man, I believe, as well, by the way. Not a United guy.
The ball, so that's why.
Is he happy to go down?
Well, his knees buckle, and I can't see.
I'm not surprised he buckled.
But
listen, I know that you want to come on and make points of why it's not a penalty, but I don't get how you can argue against this one. I mean, Diaz completely gets it wrong, puts his leg across his waist, then Højlund has got nowhere to run, so his legs have got to go into Diaz's and then hit the deck.
If Diaz goes across like that, he has to get the ball. He's got to get a touch on the ball. He gets no touch on the ball and just takes Højlund down.
He makes a play for the ball and gets nowhere near it whatsoever.
There.
I mean,
you see it there.
That is as rash as you can make a challenge within a penalty, but in a penalty area, not get anything on the ball. That's why it takes him down.
He does it just like, because if you were going in to try it, you could try and like poke it away, but it's the way that he goes round like that.
Yeah.
Like,
if it's that, then fair enough. But because it's
he brings
that
it
movement,
round.
Hooks it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not easy being a ref.
It's not easy being a ref, he says. And the problem is, it would be a lot easier to be a referee if people like yourself called out their mistakes and then they were given training to make better decisions. And you should be calling it out. The reason Dermot Gallagher looks like a pleb here is because he's lying to us. And I will say this about the mainstream media. Maybe they've been watching The Terrace. Maybe they've been watching other YouTube channels. Maybe they've been watching content creators. They're starting to challenge more. It's interesting, since they've started to challenge more, they're putting less of the clips out on social media. But still the Pgmol are being protected. Still the Pgmol are having their ex-colleagues or current colleagues, because they still refer to each other as colleagues, protect them. They've been exposed again here. This was an outright penalty. When Man United have things go against us, it always depends upon the result as to whether or not there's an inquest. Because Man United won, and rightfully so, Ahmad is getting the adulation, Amorim is being congratulated, Pep Guardiola is being scrutinised. Less people are focused on this refereeing decision. I get called out a lot. Terry, you only care about decisions when they go against the team you want to win. And they don't win. You use it as an excuse. Well, this isn't true, because Man United won the game, but I'm still calling it out with as much vim and venom as I can, because we need better officiating in this country. And the bit that scares me the most, it's the flip-flopping and the changing from the Pgmol. 1 minute, it doesn't matter about the game. They didn't care when Trossard kicks the ball away to send him off and make it 10v11. Dissent, which, by the way, is not as bad an offence as giving away a penalty. Okay? But they would defend that and go, rules are the rules. When Rice kicked the ball away earlier on this season, rules are the rules and they must be followed. Do you remember them saying that? Do you remember them saying, do you remember Howard Webb? Do you remember Dermot Gallagher? Do you remember all the referees? Do you remember the Gary Nevilles and the like? Everyone who protects them. Rules are the rules. You must referee by the rules. I'm all for that. But what I called out is they don't do it consistently. This penalty wasn't given, and it's been defended primarily with, you don't get penalties for fouls like that in games of this magnitude. That is a stonewall foul, a cast iron penalty, and the Pgmol have been exposed again. Now, again, if you're a City fan, you'll probably defend it. It's not an attack against you. If you hate Man United, you'll probably defend it, because your tribalism is coursing through your veins, especially after a Man United win. But remember, every time you do this, you protect the Pgmol and you ensure more poor decisions, more inconsistencies, and probably more insulting than anything else, more lies being thrown our way as the viewers of this great sport, which, by the way, we spend between fans going to games and watching at home, we're all spending hundreds and thousands of pounds a year to watch this sport, and they officiate it poorly, and as I say, more insultingly, they're lying to us. As ever, I'd love to get your views, opinions, thoughts and feelings on this in the comments section below. Please hit the like button before you leave, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace!